Hello, hello. Oh, baby! Thank you!
Now I am recording.
And now I am recording. I love that you figured that out.
Hit that shit, bitch!
It is great. Well, everybody, this is another episode of the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. I am Anthony, along with Mr.
Frank.
And God willing, we don't have as many audio fucking problems as we have been having. I had to apologize to our guest, Laura, man. I really want to have her on and just repeat the entire fucking thing because that did not justify her fucking appearance. She was so filled with so much information and knowledge and just a great attitude, a great openness. Man, she was really rad, man. I immediately messaged David, her husband, and herself saying thank both of them because they're both such like really cool people, man. Like just positive hearts in the world, and that's that. If nothing else, that's what we need more of in this world right now. So thank you to Laura, thank you to David. Can't wait to have both of you on again. And again, Laura, my apologies. I'm sure Frank apologizes for it too. Not that it was anybody's fault in particular, just shit happens sometimes in this technology world. But anyway, how are you, Frank, man? I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out of the way before we, because it did beg some addressing. Come on. Stop that. You're not adding anything to the conversation. You're just bringing the energy down.
Yeah, like
everybody.
I figured out how to correct that audio problem in the editing room, but then it was too much for my fucking laptop apparently because it crashed, and I was like, fuck, I'm up here all fucking night trying to fix this shit. And then this thing happens. So then that's when I texted you. I'm like, I'm gonna have to upload it as is. But yeah.
And now we're pulled from YouTube. So someone's gonna edit that together, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So how you doing, man? Aside from the podcast engineering issues.
Well, what can I say? It's looking like I'm finally gonna work at the VA because what that program is, what that program is that it's a stepping stone. It's to help you transition from military life to civilian life, you know, and be able to do a civilian job, you know, because what the fuck was I doing for 4 years? I was shooting paper, sometimes people, but what happened? So yeah, and I was telling them, I'm like, well, the problem is not so much, you know, if I'm unhireable or not. The problem is, well, I guess that makes me unhireable, but the problem is that my felony keeps popping up, even though my probation officer said after 5 years it wasn't going to pop up anymore, and it kept popping up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So then they were saying that it's okay because their goal is to help me get a job despite having a felony. I'm like, okay, that's what fucking unemployment said, that they're encouraging the hiring of felons by giving businesses a tax break because they hired felons. And I'm like, I'm still not getting a job like that. Fuck.
Either way, it's not exactly helping you at the moment, is it?
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's luck of the draw, because the job at Pizza that I got was all because of the manager. Like I had no experience, so he had no reason to fucking hire me, but he did anyways. Then I come to find out he'll hire anyone. So I'm like, oh, I just need to find more managers like him.
Yeah, they're out there. Most people don't care if they're just hiring to fill a quick minimum wage position.
Yeah.
You just have to have a good attitude when you go in and not just go, yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. The lady from the VA was telling me that I probably shouldn't be saying in interviews that I don't have a work ethic. I have a sense of duty, because they're not going to interpret it the same way as the military.
No, just lie, Frank. Everybody lies at their job interview unless you're a model employee like me. And trust me, I realize how arrogant that sounds, but I am. I'm addicted to pleasing people, especially if I'm getting rewarded for it. I'm a proper mouse in a cage. when it comes to work. I can have any job and excel at it because I just need to please and earn more money. So, but that's my problem. I wish I was more like you and a bit more stoic and less fuck given. Hey, come on, man. Stop. All right.
Yeah,
that's
no,
I'm
because
gonna,
I'm like, no,
listen
no.
to me. Look me in the computer eye right here. I need you to understand. You need to stop doing It is really negative for the podcast.
No, I'm not saying
You're killing me,
I'm
Smalls.
saying
No, stop. I know what you're doing. Find another way to say okay. And
as in, yeah, you fucking wish you were me, but then if you were in my shoes, you'd probably be hating life. Because
I hate you. I don't hate. No, I would love my life. I'd still hate you though.
Like, because that's all you do in this fucking podcast. Like, if there's fucking dead air, or if we're transitioning between fucking
you don't just go
opinions and topics, you just start fucking hating the world, and you're like, everyone is miserable. We should all just shut up and be miserable together. At least we're unified.
No. I want to be happy. You're miserable. You are such a miserable prick. I forgot what this episode's even supposed to be about. Were we recording a podcast, or are we just having should this have been off air? Or this should have been a phone call? I don't know. Is this a little too behind the scenes?
You wanted to share with the audience
what are we sharing?
Your first experiences bicycling with your family as a family.
Wow, that was a segue from hell, wasn't it? You just brought that in, like, you want to put the crowbar down now? You forced it in enough, I think.
No, I did.
All right,
Ask the question. Asking you shall receive, right?
What was the question?
You asked, what the fuck was this podcast with this episode? Anyways.
I don't know, man. I know. I don't care. Let's just have a conversation. Let's let people know how stupid we are. I mean, how stupid are you? What is your IQ? Have you ever done one of those IQ tests?
Yes. And here's the thing, that apparently, first of all, I did it over the phone, so I don't know how legit it is.
I've never done one.
And
I'm curious.
And apparently it's timed, like all your questions are timed. So I'm like, so does the response even matter? Like, the answers, do they actually matter? Or
well, yes, because that dictates comprehensiveness, is like how well do you comprehend something. It doesn't just measure whether or not you comprehend it. It measures how well you comprehend it.
Okay, yeah.
When you make it time sensitive.
Because I was doing it over the phone, and I didn't doze off. I usually do that during tests. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna be very, like, my IQ test isn't gonna be very accurate because I tend to doze off. But no, I was watching the video, and I'm watching it, and then I read the question, something about chickens have 2 legs, and then there's cats and dogs, and how many legs are there in total? And I'm like, cool. And I go back to the video, and then I'm like, shit, the IQ test is timed. So I read it again, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I answer it in my head, and I go back to the video, and I'm like, the IQ test is timed. So I'm like, okay, this.
I feel like I just went on a weird ride with you, and I don't and you just gave me CTE. What the okay.
Yeah, and then I was thinking, I'm like, if this was
hold on. I don't need to hear more about it. But I can't assume that you didn't do well in this IQ test.
Well, I mean, I did average. Average IQ is 110, and I think I did. Yeah. No, well, now they're saying it's between 80 to 110. I'm like, bullshit. Average IQ is fucking 110. But what happened? Yeah, so I did fairly well, I think.
Okay, so the historical IQ classification table says if you're above 140, you're near genius or genius. If you're 120 to 140, you're very superior intelligence. 110 to 120, you're superior intelligence. And 90 to 110, you're normal or average.
Right, see, 110. But no, apparently 160 is fucking genius, I think, is what I was saying.
I'm definitely not there.
But no, I'm not. I did between 120 and 130. and I was fucking half paying attention, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'd probably do better in person. And then I'm like, no, I really wouldn't, because I'd be reading the question and dozing off, like not paying attention, and then just fucking, you know, being distracted by, oh, did I leave the stove on? So yeah, fucking tests aren't that accurate with me. I do horrible in testing. So, and that's mostly why, because I'm reading a question, I understand it, I get it, but my mind is somewhere else.
Shit.
Yeah.
So it says that this test should only take 5 minutes. I've got 20 minutes to answer everything. Should we do this live? And I read them out and I say what I give my answers and just make a damn fool of myself.
No, I think you should do it after.
Come on, let's do it.
And then post fucking
choose the appropriate shape, A, B, C, D, E, or F to replace the shape that is missing. Dun dun dun.
I guess we're doing this then. Yeah, talking about how fucking I choose boring topics, and then here you are.
Oh my god, I'll definitely have to do this later. That's not at all the kind of test I thought it was going to be. I've never taken those tests. Like I said, what the hell was that? There's shapes. Like I get it. Like I already knew the answer, but yeah, that's a lot of dead air. I think I'm near genius.
Okay, that's
from the 1 to 4 year old age range.
Okay, that's another thing that, and there's a study that proves this, that what they did was they tested a number of people, right? And then afterwards they asked, hey, how well do you think you did on your I don't know if it was an IQ test, it probably was, but they're like, how well do you think you did on the test? And the people that said I did very well, or I did well, period, they tested lower than the people that said I did horrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it usually means more to the people. They try harder that have no confidence in themselves. Yeah, well, I'd probably do terrible. Yeah, I'd be on the upper half of the lower tier. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just below average. But like I'd miss it by like half a point. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does it measure emotional intelligence?
I don't think so. I mean, you think it should, because intelligence is intelligence. Like you have to get a generalization of your intelligence, but
no. Emotions don't factor into intelligence, apparently.
No, that's the thing, that there are some professionals that are saying yes, emotional intelligence is the thing.
Now they are, yeah.
And there are other professionals that are saying no, emotional intelligence isn't a thing.
It don't mean shit to me.
Yeah. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't know.
Sorry, was I moving around too much for you?
Probably. No, with the whole emotional intelligence, I'm like, I'm not very bright, because like I was telling my shrink in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know what somebody is expressing to me, like with facial expressions, like and be like, oh man, you look really tired. And they'd be like, no, I'm fucking devastated. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an Asperger's thing. Like that's a real, that's a spectrum disorder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, the people that know you, we know that already. Like that's why we think you're so quirky. That's why we used to call it. That's why I call it stoic. It's a much more nice way of putting that you're on the spectrum.
Well, it's also a sociopathic trait not to recognize emotional fucking readings like that.
It is, and you are slightly sociopathic, but not on a not on a narcissist. No, yeah, you are. You're pretty narcissistic and sociopathic, but not in a dangerous way.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not sociopathic. You're narcissistic. Okay. That's what it is.
Because there's a fine line between sociopathic and narcissistic.
Sure, I'm both. Mm-hmm. I think you're only half as crazy as me.
Okay. I mean, if you say so. 'Cause I'm the one taking fucking how many fucking meds? Like fucking 6 different
I don't
bottles
know,
of
man, but I
medications a
can't stop
day.
thinking about the National Treasure. What's that movie with Nicolas Cage, Angels and Demons, or National Treasure? Which one is it where there's the picture of the Last Supper,
Mm-hmm.
and he like finds all the symbols in the pictures that point to something that lead him to somewhere, and
Yeah, you're mixing National Treasure with the DaVinci Code.
God damn it, he made like 4 or 5 of those movies that were all the same
Except
goddamn movie.
except the DaVinci Code is with Tom Hanks.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Angels and Demons too, right?
Yeah, that's the sequel to the DaVinci Code.
Motherfucker, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hanks did it better, I think.
Okay.
I just can't get over Nicolas Cage's hairline. It's too much like mine, I think. If look, I look like a bird.
I think I think Nicolas Cage's hairline. I think he uses implants. I think I don't like John Travolta for sure. That's why he went bald because it was
Do you
starting to
know the
look
comedian
ridiculous.
Chris D'Elia?
What about him?
Talk about narcissism. I'm real into myself right now, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely taking myself off the screen after this question. But do you know what he looks like or no? The comedian Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, we follow him on Instagram.
Okay, I swear to God, I look like him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I got like
Mhm.
no, no, and not in a good way.
No, it's just the shape of your face, the length of your hair, and your beard. That's why you're like, oh, I kind of look like him.
It's
Well,
all matching up, right?
it's just that you have features in common.
All right, I'm
But
gone. I need to look at you now.
other
You're
than
so beautiful, Frank.
sure.
Sure, pa.
Yeah. But anyways,
So
so
what?
then,
What?
so
Go ahead. Are
then,
we still? Oh yeah, DaVinci Code.
what about it?
I don't know.
There are some people that actually fucking believe all that shit. That no, it's all true. That fucking what's his name? Something Brown. I want to say Clancy Brown, but I'm like, no, that's the voice actor. Um, yeah,
Doc.
that I don't know that the guy
Doc
knows
Brown.
what he's fucking talking about. He's revealing all the secrets, blah blah blah. And so then that's why when it came out, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to fucking look into the book because we need to know these things. And then at the PX over on fucking Pendleton, I saw the book and it had an author, and then I read the back of it and talking about how it follows this one fucking character. And I'm like, man, this is probably fucking bullshit.
What book is it? What's it about? What are you
The
talking
Da
about?
Vinci Code.
Oh, you really are talking about the DaVinci Code.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
like, man,
okay.
that's some bullshit. I'm like, well, maybe it can be an allegory. I'm like, nah.
You're a silly boy.
I'm like, nah, more likely it's fucking bullshit, all made up and shit. Like how there's apparently
Wait, so you did you think that it was real?
no, I
Because I know that was a weird thing. Like a lot of people thought that it was like everybody was starting to that's what like kicked off this huge conspiracy theory like boom, where everybody was starting to look for conspiracies.
yeah,
Because what year was that?
2006, I want to say. But yeah, because well, the both movies came out when I was still in the military, I think. But no, because when I was
2003.
oh shit, when I saw it, um,
Oh, that was the novel. I'm sorry.
yeah, when I saw it, and I talk about it with people, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's all true," blah blah blah, and I'm like, Then I guess I should read the book
Yeah,
and judge for
2006.
myself. And then that's when I found the book, and then I'm like, man, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Conspiracy theory. I was so into conspiracy theories for a good few years there, but I got burnt out, man. Like, there's only so much you could think about the what ifs and realize that there's absolutely nothing you could do about it.
Well, you
Like,
could start a
I
revolution.
can't stand. How? How would one start a revolution? Maybe we shouldn't discuss that. Actually, never
You
mind. With your reputation and with the way the culture is right now, we'd end up getting fucking hunted down by the FBI within a second if we started talking about how to start a revolution.
Oh, I'm already on their list.
Oh
But
no.
but no, you start a fucking following like through Instagram or Facebook, and then of like-minded people, and then you have these not conventions, but what are they called? I don't know. You have a gathering, a public gathering.
Communes,
No, not communes. But
rallies.
sure, let's call them rallies. And
Oh no! All right, I'm done. We're not having this conversation. The Proud Boys did this on their fucking. No, we can't. That's a non-starter.
uh-huh.
Let's end that conversation before it begins.
Yeah, we
So
don't want to
hey
get
man,
demonetized
hey.
before we actually get
So
monetized.
so let's actually no, let's do get into at least one topic. What do you think of the Winter Soldier? The last, at least the last episode, but the last couple episodes we haven't talked about.
Well,
Are we doing that? Are we doing spoilers? Has this just become a review show for the Disney Channel Plus?
well, if you can, we can say spoiler alert, and then I'll provide the timestamp on the.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we get to that, have you seen the trailer for Black Widow yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm just supposed. What am I supposed to just?
No,
fucking
because the
know what
trailers
you've
were
seen?
coming out fucking last year, and then the pandemic happened, and now they're recycling it, but they're adding footage from other movies she's been in to resell you the same fucking package. And I'm like,
Well, no, they're explaining. 'Cause there was a lot of spoilers in it, dude. Like there was a lot of spoiler. First off, what is that? There, I don't know what the main villain's name is.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Yeah, like I know. Didn't he? I know he used to like absorb people's powers, right?
No.
Like in the comics.
No, he has photographic reflexes, I think it is. So what happens is that
Well, no, in the movie or in the comics?
no, in the comics. So what happens is that he sees you fighting, right? And then he copies the same fighting style as you, through fucking memory. And
Gotcha.
yeah, and so then
That's why. So in the trailer, you see him doing like Spider-Man double kick backflips, and then fucking like Black Widow's, grabbing guys by with his thighs and flipping around, and
yeah.
it was. I know like his fighting style was taking from everybody, and then you like see a close up of his face, and he's got like the heads up display, like and the camera right in between his eyes, like a whole Tony Stark thing.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I was thinking if he's fucking if he's got the camera there, if either one, it might not even like it might just be a fucking drone or something. But if anything, like you said, he's like got a photographic memory, then maybe that's what he's using to record the fights and then learn how to imitate, dial it in even further, even though like he can photographic memory replicate it. Just to dial it in further, he may be recording through that, and I don't know, man. It's fucking cool.
yeah,
I
apparently
really that character alone is going to be worth watching that movie for. I think.
yeah, apparently what they're doing for the MCU is that he has a little camera, but it's the technology that Iron Man used when he was fighting Captain America, where he's like, hey, copy his fucking fighting style. Okay,
Voice mimicry and photographic reflexes.
Yeah, where he's like, hey, fucking record his fighting style. Okay, let's kick his ass. And then he does that. He counters his fighting style. So then that same technology, that same program that Tony Stark used to fight Captain America is what Taskmaster is using. And I'm like, well, don't you dilute the character, because like that's part of his, like that's his thing.
Well, I like what they've done to him though in the movie though, where they've made him like a Kirby of sorts. You know what I mean? Like he's actually like taking on the properties of all the, because at one point in the trailer he's like swinging like Spider-Man, and like I said, doing the double kick backflip off of somebody's chest. Like exactly. So he's copying Spider-Man. He had the fighting style of several other characters. That one scene, he's got the Black Panther claws. Like I think that's the first image of him that shows up, right? Like, what else? Well, that was fucking something else.
Yeah, when he's falling from the sky, he does an Iron
the
Man
Hawkeye,
pose.
the Hawkeye thing. He's got the fucking bow and arrow fucking going on like Hawkeye. Fucking too much, man. Like he's got every like. So what is he? I like him because I feel like they can turn him into like I almost want him to just be like some stupid fucking kid, like some fucking 18-year-old super dweebed out fucking computer nerd that just found the black web for all these fucking vibranium and whatever fucking pieces of fucking armor and tech that he could, because he's got like what's his name in fucking Homecoming? Remember Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah.
With
Mysterio. No, that wasn't Mysterio.
That was the other one. I'm talking about the one before that where the guy that fucking Batman, dude.
Yeah, the Vulture.
Yeah, the Vultures. So where the Vultures, he's collecting all these weapons, right, and selling them. You know, collecting all the alien tech and shit, and turning them into weapons and reselling them. So who's to say this isn't just a kid who just got a hold of some black market fucking weaponry, learned how to fucking super pull down every fucking video off YouTube and download it into this photo fucking graphic memory and shit. You know what I mean? I'm just so excited. I love the potential for this one particular character. It's been a long time since I've seen like just what are you gonna do? Like it's the Superman of villains. He's got all the fucking tricks up his sleeve. Maybe he's the Batman. He's the Batman of fucking villains.
So you want him to be a kid that just found his daddy's gun?
Yes. What a poignant and fucking poetic fucking way to put. Yes. I want it to be some fucking loser in high school. I want him to be the anti-Spider-Man. I said that twice. Anti-Superman is what I was trying to say, but that's a DC comic reference, and I felt bad bringing him into it.
Yeah,
so
that's why Spider-Man is hyphenated, because apparently they're so similar.
They're too similar. Yeah, well, that perfect, like Captain America, you know, just that's what I love about Marvel characters. It's always a very true-hearted character. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They always make the right decisions in Marvel. Yeah. As far as like their heart goes, whether it's the right decision in other aspects, but they always follow their heart in Marvel.
Yeah, that's because Kevin Feige is a fucking comic book nerd.
Right, but then you get DC, and DC is always following like the gut. You know, like you go with your gut, and you get the bad guy. And you may there's always casualties in war kind of attitude, you know what I mean? Which I respect and I appreciate, but that's not me. You know what I mean? So that's why I lean more towards Marvel. I was surprised you seem to be more of a Marvel guy rather than DC as well.
Yeah.
How does that come about? How do you justify that with
because
how do you amalgamate that with your personality?
Because as Stanley as Stanley put it, it's the world outside your window. You know, these are characters that are more grounded, right? And in the case of Spider-Man, it's always like, you know, you have this gift, therefore you have the responsibility of you know, going out and fucking using it for good instead of for evil. And then the same with Captain America, you know, it's like you're such a noble man and now you have fucking superhuman abilities, and so, you know, go out and make a difference in the world, you know. And then because I stumbled onto this phrase, well, I didn't stumble on it, but I wanted to clarify, so I got on Reddit that why is it that DC people say that Marvel is humans wanting to be gods while DC is gods wanting to be humans? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like,
that's completely reversed.
I'm like, the entire fucking point of Marvel is their fucking humanity.
Superman,
yeah,
and Wonder Woman are literally gods among men, trying to be human.
Right, and then
they're saying Marvel is
humans wanting to be gods.
No, it's not even close though. Like gods don't even like it, with the exception of Thor. Like almost every character in the Marvel universe loathes being a fucking superhero. They all want out. They do it out of a sense of duty and honor and respect and love. Holy shit, how am I fucking having this argument with such passion? I don't care this much about it, but if you're breaking it down, like every character in the Marvel universe at some point has wanted out. Every single one. Name one who hasn't wanted out in the Marvel universe.
Well, there's Moon Knight that was talking about how, you know, in order to put on the cowl, like you have to be some sort of fucking crazy because it's an addiction and fucking you want to, as much as you want to quit, you want to put the cowl back on and keep fucking doing it, which is what Iron Man is in the MCU. It's like they made him that way. That
Oh, Iron Man is it's literally an addiction for him to be a superhero.
Yeah. So instead
he's
of
an attention whore, he's what is it called? Billionaire, philanthropist, narcissist, blah 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 blah. Like, but it all revolves around him being a narcissist.
Yeah, and that was a whole.
But we all are.
Yeah, that was a whole arc on Iron Man in the MCU that he's so full of himself, but is he capable of actually being a hero? Like self-sacrifice in this case, which is why I didn't agree with what they did with him in fucking Endgame. I'm like, you already closed his arc by giving him a family. Like he's already a different person. He's already a better person because of all this. And then you're saying like, okay, now you have to give your life for your family. It's the one thing you need to close your story arc. Like the one thing you need to be a better person. I'm like, no, I disagree. Like you already gave him a closing to his arc. So, like leave him be. Let him fucking be a family man.
Let who be a family man?
Tony Stark in the MCU.
But he died.
Right, he died because they were saying, that's the one thing you have left to do is to give your life away. And it's like he's already dedicating his life to his family.
But they already had that. They already had that covered with Captain by him going back and living a full life as a regular guy and and living. They could only repeat the same storyline with so many characters. They got to change it up just for the sake of fucking
right. But I don't think
variety.
Rogers would have been like, you know what, let me fucking
I feel like that was a bad call too. I feel like Cap would have been, it should have been the other way around. Like Cap should have fucking been the one that ended up dying for everything, because that's what he's all about, like sacrifice till the end for the betterment of the United States and the world. That's always been his thing. Tony Stark has always been a little bit selfish. So of course, naturally, he should have selfishly decided to bow out like he finally promised Pepper Potts to fucking do all those fucking years, and then fucking actually live a life and, as narcissists do, happily ever after with their wife and kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then have his daughter.
That would have been a better story. I absolutely agree with you. And yeah, it should have been Captain that fucking... Because either way, he's out of the universe. Like they should have flipped that storyline for sure.
Yeah, and then
but the problem was that only Tony Stark had the glove that could handle no, but that's bullshit too, because Cap could have just picked up the glove and used it himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and the loophole, not loophole, but I guess you could say plot hole, is that what's her name? The Sorcerer Supreme before Doctor Strange. Yeah, she was telling Doctor Strange in his movie,
Tilda Swinton or something like that?
Yeah, that she can't see past her own death, right? So then she can...
Nobody can.
Right. And then when Doctor Strange went looking for a possibility to defeat Thanos, he only saw one. But again, that one was the only one where Doctor Strange was still alive. So there could be other possibilities where the good guys win, but Doctor Strange doesn't live. So I'm like, that could have been pretty fucking selfish, and been like, no, like I want to live. So yeah.
That's funny. That's such a dark way. I like how you put humanity into the fucking decision there.
Yeah, so I'm like, I didn't know.
So that was another thing. So I did watch a couple reviews. I wish I had written down what YouTuber had done the Black Widow trailer review, but they pointed out that when Helena, the quote unquote sister,
the new Black Widow,
in the new Black Widow movie. Wait, what do you mean?
She's the new Black Widow.
What do you mean she's the new Black Widow?
In the comics, Yelena fucking something or the other, she becomes the Black Widow.
Well, do you know how?
Yeah, like this. I'm the Black Widow now.
No, she actually she gets a procedure done and not face swaps because there's two. Okay, so you know how in the MC universe, Scarlett Johansson all of a sudden has blonde hair in I think Infinity Wars and Endgame.
Yeah, in Infinity War, she was wearing the same vest that Yelena was wearing in the trailer.
Yes, exactly. And when Helena's on the fucking, they show an image where Helena's strapped down on a fucking gurney or something, and her face has like a fucking outline cut out, like they're about to fucking take her face off and put a new one on. So there's the theory that, huge spoiler alert, that Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, the actual Black Widow, is still alive. And the blonde version that we saw die in Endgames was actually Helena. And Scarlett Johansson might still be alive as Black Widow out there somewhere.
Yeah, well, Yelena becomes a Black Widow because, you know, it like in the comics, it's a whole organization. Like all these femme fatales, they're all called the Black Widow. So then,
gorgeous.
Yeah, so then she shows up in Natasha's life, and it's like, oh, that's the other Black Widow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then what is going on apparently is Marvel is setting up the Dark Avengers, which is
no, they're gonna go DC with it, aren't they?
No,
they're
no,
just gonna
they're
make
called
every
the Dark
fucking
Avengers.
Scene dark and
no, they're called the
black
Dark
and
Avengers because they're bad guys that have similar powers to the actual Avengers, so they replace those Avengers with themselves.
like the alternate timeline and
No,
Community.
no. What happens is that what's his name? Norman Osborn becomes the head of Shield, I think it was.
What?
And, yeah, and so then he forms his own Avengers. Yeah, he forms his own Avengers. So he gets Venom to replace Spider-Man. He replaces Iron Man.
Spider-Man was never in the Avengers.
Yeah, he was an Avenger.
No, he wasn't. He was
Yes, he
asked to. No, he wasn't. He was asked to be an Avenger, and then they fucking said no because he was too young, or whatever. And then he ends up helping them fight the Hulk. And when the Hulk rages out for some reason, and once they end up calming the Hulk down or defeating the Hulk somehow or whatever, by the end of that story arc, they're like, all right, well, you've proven yourself. Why don't you go ahead and join us as an Avenger? He's like, you know what? I've realized that I don't have the time to be away from my city. My home needs me more than, you know, somebody's got to fight for the little guy. Not everybody can fight these big battles all the time. You know, somebody's got to fight for the little guy. So he actually turns down the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about Spider-Man.
Then he eventually becomes an Avenger.
No.
Yes, he does. Look it up.
No.
Google it. Is Spider-Man an Avenger? Yes, he is.
Is this after like post 90s?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the writers
that's showing my age that I only know comics before 95. Shit.
Because the writers were arguing amongst themselves that same point that, you know, Spider-Man is a loner, you know, so it'd be out of character for him to join the Avengers.
He's not a loner. He's not about, he wants to help the little guys that are forgotten. Right. He doesn't want to be like all those main battles already have the main superheroes taking care of that shit. And there needs to be other branches to handle these other situations that fucking happen. The day-to-day bank robberies that end up killing 16 people, you know, maybe you save those 16 people. Why not? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, so that was their argument. And
that's my argument, goddammit.
Yeah, and then the other writers won because, you know, I think what happened was that the Avengers wasn't making money, so they threw in Spider-Man to raise comic sales. But anyways, so yeah, Norman Osborn,
Spider-Man always works. Yeah. What is it about Spider-Man you think that always works?
That he's relatable. Like he's you, he's me. He's, you know, I tell people that back when Donnie Glover, the fucking kid from fucking
Community.
Yeah,
Donald Glover.
Yeah, when he was campaigning to be the next Spider-Man. Like I was
Well, they
telling
were campaigning on his behalf. He wasn't campaigning for it. He said he would be honored to do it, but he wasn't out there asking for the role.
right. So I was telling people, I'm like, Spider-Man is the last person you'd expect. You know, that's who Spider-Man is. Because
That's why the Milo Morales thing was fucking amazing, dude. That was such I loved it, dude. And then the I thought it was pretty cheesy to go with the multiverse shit, but it was out of left field enough at a time where the animation held up to really grab kids' attention, and it was nostalgic enough, just enough. Well, what it was is they had a character for every age group, right? I mean,
right.
for the last 3, 4, 5 generations, we've all had our version of Spider-Man. Whether you grew up in the 70s with, or the 70s with that old fucking Spider-Man that was doing like bad, terrible cartwheels and on television. Fuck, god damn, I'm flashbacking to watching those. Those are so fucking great. I've seen those on YouTube 100 times. They're so fun to watch, dude. Whether you grew up with them or Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland, who is the guy? Andrew something.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, man. What a terrible fucking movie, but I liked him. I thought he did pretty good for a British guy. It's just hard for me to get. I mean, even Tom Holland, it kind of grinds my gears a little bit that he's a British guy. Like, he should have been from Queens. Get a guy from Queens. But then again, it's acting. I'm not saying like no Asian guy could play a Mexican guy or no Mexican guy. I don't care about that kind of stuff. It's acting for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't hire the best person for the fucking job. That's my stance on that, as unpopular as it might be.
Yeah. Hire the one that's good at pretending.
Yeah, that's acting, right? I mean, unless there is actually somebody that's better for the role that matches the exact description, then of course go with the exact match of the description that's been written. But don't do it just for the sake of matching the aesthetic. The acting itself should be pretty fucking good too. I don't want somebody who needs cue cards reading in the next M. Night Shyamalan movie just because they needed a real authentic Indian to play the damn role.
Yeah, apparently Stan Lee said when they casted Tom Holland that Tom Holland embodies exactly what he was thinking of when he designed, when he came up with Spider-Man / Peter Parker.
His body type, his acting style, his mannerisms. Me too. Yeah, no, that's exactly who I grew up watching too, because I mean, that was the attitude that they had in the 90s cartoon, like the after school Fox cartoons. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
What was it, channel 17 or something here?
It was 17 back when it was antenna.
Back when there was only 4 channels, 4, 5, 17, and 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
And 48.
ABC, CBS, NBC, and ABC Family. No, it wasn't ABC Family. It was the WB. No, CW. No, what was it? CW, right? But before that, it was Fox. It was Fox actually had a national television service for a while.
Fox, and
then it got bought by CW or WB, and then it turned into CW.
Sure.
Fuckers, we're teaching y'all some television history right now. I know my shit. I grew up on television. It raised me. Conan O'Brien's my daddy. No. Oh, dude, Conan O'Brien, I'll tell you, Conan O'Brien was the pinnacle of fucking hilarity to me. Like I emulated him, his comedic style as a kid in school, man. Staying up late. It used to be Leno, right? And then when Conan O'Brien came on the scene, I was staying up later to watch him because I think who did he take over for?
Who, Leno? For Johnny Carson.
No. Who did O'Brien take over for? Was it Letterman?
No, it was shit. I don't even know.
Definitely wasn't Letterman. That's foolish, but I can't remember who he took over for.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Whatever, that wasn't my generation. I wasn't old enough to stay up that late until Conan O'Brien came on the scene, and I was still probably getting in trouble for staying up that late on a school night. But you know, come to think of it, that's probably the reason why I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning now. Like every night, no matter when I go to sleep, I usually wake up 2 hours later. It's because that's what I did as a kid. I'd be sent to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'd go to sleep till 11 o'clock, go sneak to the television, quietly turn the little knob till you hear click, psh, psh, and the TV hums on into life, and then you hear, and you immediately turn it down because you didn't realize you turned it on so fucking loud. Because that's TVs back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. You young folks out there, there were knobs on them.
I used pliers.
oftentimes some fucking drunken night, your dad went to the TV, fucking ripped that knob right the fuck off.
Yeah. So we're at the 45-minute mark.
Then they'd get up the next morning and be like, who fucking broke the TV? Goddamn it.
Yeah, so we're at the 45-minute mark.
Are we? All right. Well, that's been fun. This has been another episode of the Completely Inappropriate Podcast, and we have talked about absolutely fucking nothing.
We talked about fucking Marvel. That was it.
That was a lot of Marvel, yeah.
We were going to talk about.
Who cares what we were going to talk about? That's what we got through. You want to do a quick rundown of what we just talked about?
We talked about the DaVinci Code. Tried talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We talked about fucking Marvel, and we threw some shade at DC because we're Marvel guys.
I didn't throw any shade. I was just distinguishing between the two, and the reason why I prefer Marvel. I truly do appreciate DC. Like their dark and grittiness stood very poignant at a time in my life when I was an angsty teenager and shit. But you know, I'm trying to live my best life, man. I'm trying to live with a happy fucking face nowadays. So give me Marvel all day, man.
Cool.
But maybe, yeah, we'll touch a little bit on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier next episode and ramble on about whatever the fuck else we want to, baby. Because this is our podcast with Mr.
Frank.
And me, Mr. Anthony, with another episode of the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. You can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com with any comments, questions, or concerns. If you want to send anybody our way or recommend us to anybody, please do. We're always happy to have new guests on. Hopefully we've worked out our audio issues and the quality is nice and crispy for you guys. Frank, anything else we should tell the people?
Not really, no.
Oh yeah, Instagram at CI Podcast, Twitter at Completely Inapp with 1P. Do we still even tweet?
I try to tweet.
No, I don't think I've opened up Twitter for like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so good luck with that. I hope you're not being weird about it.
No, I'm not.
Hey, by the way, guys, I'm off the podcast Instagram too. So whatever the fuck he's doing up there, blame him. All right. You email completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com with any comments, questions, concerns about Frank. Because we love you, Frank. Frank, what do we tell the people?
Be excellent to each other.
Find you're happy. Try to be better today than you were yesterday. And remember that Frank comes from his mama and he loves God. Maybe send him one. Say bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank. Love you.
Bye, Frank. We love you.
Stop recording already.